he does deserve all the credit he's done for the work he's done. I applaud anybody who's willing to help the military. But when was the last time you went on the base and looked at the base housing?
Well, I could take that a step further because, we had this big disaster on September 11th, 2001, and here in Kitsap County, we actually had pieces of said disaster travel into Kitsap County. And you know what Norm Dix did for the thousands of people that showed up at the location where those pieces of the 9/11 disaster, do you know what Norm Dix did for everybody that showed up there that day?
Same thing Patty Murray did, by the way.
Sent a representative.
Well, and, wait, you can't really fault him on that.
Oh, yes, I can.
Yeah, we both can.
Yeah, we can
but
absolutely
even our
fault him.
commissioner, Josh Brown, wasn't there.
And we fault him for that as well.
Okay.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Josh Brown at least serves on the committee that is overseeing what they're going to do with it.
No, he got fired from that
committee.
Did he? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm out of the loop. Josh Brownie, my friend, what's up?
Yeah, he hasn't been on that committee in a long time.
But let me say that. Let me ask this question. You mentioned earlier that you've spoken with the Tea Party.
Yes.
And as the resident Dem on the show, and I'm not all Dem, but I'm 99% Dem. Does affiliating yourself with the Tea Party in this state hurt your chances? Because I think Democrats in general would be more likely to go Republican if they were going to cross over a line than to go Tea Party. Because I think that there's a connotation, right or wrong, and I'm not debating if it's good or bad, but there's a fringe element that has at least been purported in the media, thanks CNN, that goes with the Tea Party. So is going to the Tea Party in a way, could that potentially hinder your chances a little bit more than if you were Republican? Because then maybe some of the Democrats, like me, who are annoyed and dissatisfied with the job that Norm Dix is doing. And I love the fact that people are making excuses for him about all the good things he's supposedly done. I'd like to see what it is. I'd like a roadmap to the wonderful things that Norm Dix has done the last 15 years because I can't find it. There's no magic treasure map, and there's no rainbow that goes to his pot of gold.
Hey, dog.
Yes.
I was being a little facetious.
But does going to the Tea Party hurt you a little bit through mainstream circles, or do you think that there's a more of a groundswell of support that's building there that's going to pull in people from the left to cross over?
I honestly, when you go to the Tea Party, I don't know if you've gone to any of their meetings at all, but when you do, you're going to see people from the Democrats and from the Republicans. You're going to see mostly 99% of them are independents. And absolutely, there is a fringe movement there. There's a fringe movement in the Republican Party. There's a fringe movement in the Democrat Party. There's a fringe movement in the old Whig Party, which the Republicans became.
That's right. Yeah.
It's happened throughout time. If you look back at when Andrew Jackson was president, and if you look at the things they said about each other and their wives, it was absolutely deplorable. By today's standards, we're not even close to that.
That's true.
Thank goodness for that. However, we also saw men in those times do great things. I think we're going to see the same thing happen today. And when it comes to the Tea Party, we have independents. And if you, like you say, you're about 90% Democrat, if you had a choice, you'd be independent. 90% of us would.
So,
we
Robert,
want to vote for the person. We want to vote for the man. We don't want to vote for the party. I don't think either party is doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's 100%.
No, I agree with that. I do. And one of the in fact, Minnie's got a question we'll get to in just a second. One of the things that has always annoyed me about the conservative movement, and that would be Tea Parties and Republicans alike.
So he's saying St. Paul.
No, we've had this conversation before.
Okay.
Is the underlying, and I want you to comment on this, the underlying movement in the Republican and conservative circles against equal rights for gays and lesbians and against a woman's choice. Now, I understand the pro-choice issue, okay, because many conservatives are Christians. They have a religious foundation to what they do, and so the abortion thing, that makes sense to me, and I don't fault anybody who doesn't agree with that. The gay and lesbian rights issue, though, I just can't get behind. I can't get behind a party or a platform that is for oppressing and repressing the rights of any given group of people. Where do you stand on those issues specifically in regards to if you announce your candidacy, how you want to proceed?
Well, first and foremost, all those issues, all those social issues belong at the state and local levels.
Amen.
The federal government doesn't have any place in that. Now, having said that, we are based in a society ruled by the majority with respect to the rights of the minority. It is also the responsibility of the minority to submit its will to the majority. And as long as that is done according to the Constitution, both of the federal and local state levels, I'm not going to argue with it. If the law of the land is Roe v. Wade, I'm not going to argue with it. If the law of the land is to allow homosexual marriage, I'm not going to argue with it. My personal beliefs beside, that's what the people have decided. And one thing I will not tolerate, and I will fight any time I get a chance, is when a judge decides to usurp the will of the people. And that's happened too many times. And I'm not talking about just in the gay marriage issue. I'm talking about across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So
if
when it comes to those issues, those are state and local issues, and that belongs in the hands of the people, not the federal government. There's no place in the Constitution for that.
But we've heard people say, and again, I'm not you. I don't know where you stand on this, but we've heard conservatives say we need to have a constitutional amendment defining marriages between a man and a woman, which a constitutional amendment to me would be to take that away from the states. It would be to set it on a federal scale. So would you be, based off of what you said, would you be opposed to any kind of a constitutional amendment as defining marriage that way and thus leaving it to the states to decide for themselves?
Yes, and I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. But again, I would fight that. That's not right.
Okay, and I know that Mindy had a question. Mindy, go ahead.
Well, actually, we have several questions from a listener living on the right side who really wants to know your agenda and how you're going to get started, and when you're first in office, what's your first priority? And then also something that he touched on is taking away, the public schools today, they don't really have the voice. And then again, he's also going on about going to Rotaries and knocking on doors and attending chambers and town halls, and example with Tim Sheldon. Do you have any response to that?
When it comes to going to Rotaries and knocking on doors, absolutely. There's no better way to win an election than to be face to face with people and let them tell you what they think. And then, no, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the first two parts of that question?
Okay. He really wants to know what your first priority once in office. So he again is supporting you.
Okay. My first priority in office is to bring forth a balanced budget amendment. We can't continue. We cannot continue to spend on credit cards. There is no way we can do that. That has to stop. I can't do it in my home. As a matter of fact, if I did it in my business, I'd be bankrupt today. I can't do it. We can't do it as a country. We are a $2 trillion. Now, most people don't even understand how big $1 trillion is when we talk about it. So let's make it real simple. Every man, woman, child, baby, unborn baby today owes for a luxury automobile at $50,000 that they'll never see. We can't afford to continue that. We have $2 trillion coming in. We have a president who's asked for $3.4 trillion. That's 1.4 more than we earn. We can't do that. That has to stop.
All right,
that just has to stop.
Let me interrupt really quick.
My first priority is to work on getting that balanced budget in.
Okay.
Let's cut the spending.
All right, and that's actually the next thing we're going to go to, Mr. Sauerwein. We're speaking with Robert Sauerwein, who is hedging, leaning towards running, but they've still got some final decisions to make. I need to get to a break really quick. Do you mind holding with us through one break, and we'll continue this on the other side?
That'd be great.
Okay, Robert Sauerwein with us, and to give him a heads up, the next question I'm going to ask is, he talked about cutting the budget and getting to a balanced budget. I want to ask about how he wants to do that, because in order to do that, you have to do a massive amount of spending cuts. You're going to have to defund a lot of things that the federal government is currently paying for, and I want to get an idea from him how he wants to do that, and if he feels like the nation is ready to cope with that kind of a change, because a lot of things that people are accustomed to, could very well be changed greatly if we go to that kind of a spending cut. So, St. Paul, the voice of reason, joining us is Megamouth Mindy,
K-Dog, the loose cannon,
and we're going to go to break 3 minutes, and we're back with Robert Sauerwein again, probably running against Norm Dix, the established Democrat stalwart here in Kitsap County. Yeah, the
He is
establishment.
the establishment at this point in time. All right.
You talk about a lifetime politician is probably Norm Dick. Stick around. Back after this.